Alright, so here are the solutions for the Semester 1 review, numbers 51 through 60. Number 51, first thing we need to do is find the slope of the line through 3, -4, and 5, 4. So we're going to take those two ordered pairs. We're going to line them up, 3, -4, and then 5, 4. And subtract. 4 minus -4 gives us 8. And 5 minus 3 gives us 2. 8 divided by 2 gives us 4, so that is the slope of the line. Number 52. 52. First thing that I notice is this line is going down, so I know that it is negative. So we could rule out all of the positive ones. And then we see I start on the left and I go down 1, so that reinforces that it's negative, down 1, and then over 3. So our slope is down 1 over 3, so -1/3, B. Next one, notice this line is going up from left to right, so I can get rid of all of the negative slopes. Start with the point on the left, and it goes up 1, 2, 3, so we go up 3 over 1, so 3 over 1 is C. Okay, now letter C. If we've got a horizontal line, we know that that answer has a 0 slope, and if we have a vertical line, that's undefined. All right, number 53. What is the rate of change for the graph? Well, understand that rate of change means the same thing as slope. So all we're doing is looking for the slope of this graph. Remember, slope is rise over run. So I'm going to take those 2 points, and I see that we rise 6. Notice that I went up 6, and then over 2. So 6 divided by 2 gives me 3, and we're talking about $3 per piece of wood. So our answer choice here would be B. Okay, if you don't want to do rise over run, you can always take those ordered pairs. We see that is the origin, 0, 0, and the other point right here was 2, 6. And then you could just find the slope doing this. 6 minus 0 gives us 6, 2 minus 0 gives us 2, and then once again 6 divided by 2 gives us that 3. Alright, moving on to 54. 54, we've got James bought a plant that was 3 inches tall. Each week the plant grew 2 inches. Define the rate of change in this situation. Okay, so what we want to know is, what is the slope here? What's happening over and over and over again? So we know that the plant grew 2 inches each week. Okay, so our rate of change here is 2 inches per week. And that's your answer for 54. All right, 55, determine the slope of the linear function. Well, remember, f of x is the same thing as saying y. Okay, so we could also change your table to look vertical instead of horizontal. And so we would have -1, 1 and 0, 3. And then just do the same thing that we normally do whenever we are finding slope. So we would do 3 minus 1 gives us 2, and 0 minus -1. 0 minus -1 is a positive 1. So we've got 2 divided by 1, which equals 2. Answer is D. Next one, 56. On 56, it says the amount of time it takes Dominic to read a book is a constant rate based on the number of pages in the book. If it takes him 8 hours to read a 248-page book, how long will it take him to read 2 310-page books? Okay, well, there are several different ways that we could do this problem. Right here, because it says that he reads the book at a constant rate, that just means that the rate is the same throughout the entire time that he's reading. So our rate of change or our slope is going to stay the same. So we can go ahead and figure out how long it takes him to read, or how many pages he can read in 1 hour. And we can do that while finding the rate of change right here. So 248 pages in 8 hours. So if we divide that, we see that he can do 31 pages in 1 hour. Okay, and all we do is just divide that. So now we want to know if he reads 2 310 pages. Well, we see here 31 goes into 310 10 times, but we've got 2 of these, so it would take him 10 hours times 10 to give you that 310. But since we've got 2, we're going to take that 10 and multiply it by 2, so that means our answer is 20. There are several different ways that you could do this problem right here, so this is definitely not the only way that you could do it. Okay, you could set up a proportion. 248 over 8 is equal to, we know that there are 620 pages in 2 310-page books, and trying to figure out x, and you can cross multiply here to figure out, and you would get x equals 20. Alright, so like I said, there's several different ways that you can figure this one out. Hopefully one of those will work. Alright, 57, which table is graphed below? Well, let's look here. The first point that I have right here is a little bit below the 2 and 160. It's a little bit below the 160. Okay, so I would probably say that's probably more like 150. So that point there is 2, 150. The next point right here, that is 3, and it's below the 120. Let's go ahead and say maybe 100. And then the last point here, that is going to be 5. And let's see, it's below the 80. I would probably say 60. Alright, so now let's look at these. Okay, our choices here, we've got cost 60, 100, and 150. Okay, so on this one, it looks like they are mixing the x and the y's up. Notice here, our cost is the x, so your cost should be the 2, the 3, and the 5. They switch those up here, so A is definitely not right. Alright, looks like they did the same thing for letter B. And then for C, we've got a cost of $5, and with it is 60, just like we've got here. The next one says a cost of $3, and we've got 100. Perfect. And then the next choice has a cost of $2 with 150. So C is the correct answer. All right, 58. Identify the common difference. So the common difference just means, what is it increasing by or decreasing? So we look at A, and we see that each one of those would be decreasing by 6. Okay, so that means our common difference, which we usually say is D, is equal to -6. Now looking at choice B here, we see that our numbers are increasing, so we should have a positive number, and we see that those are increasing by 4.5. Each one is being increased by 4.5. So that means our D here is equal to 4.5. All right, 59. 59 says, which sequence is represented by y equals 10x minus 29? where x represents the term number. So that just means the term number is like your first term, your second term. All right, so right here I'm going to make a chart. First, second, third. Okay, so whenever I plug in 1 for my first term, I've got 10 times 1 minus 29. And that gives us 10 minus 29 is negative 19. So whenever I plug in 1, I get negative 19. When I plug in 2 for the second term, 10 times 2 minus 29, that gives us 20 minus 29, which gives us negative 9. And then you could keep going with these, but we already see that this is what we're getting. See right here, we've got negative 19, negative 9, so that means for the third term should be 1, the fourth term should be 11, and so forth. Okay, so number 60, Antonio is arranging tiles according to the pattern below. So right here, stage 1, we've got 3 tiles. Stage 2, we've got 5 tiles, and stage 3, we've got 7 tiles, which represents the explicit formula for the arithmetic sequence that models Antonio's pattern. So there's several ways that you can do this problem. You can remember our formula, a sub n equals a sub 1 plus parentheses n minus 1 times d. And we know that a sub 1 is our first term, so I'm going to put 3 plus n minus 1. And then d is how much it's increasing or how much it's decreasing. So we see here it's increasing by 2. So then we distribute here. That gives us 3 plus 2n minus 2. Combine your like terms. 3 minus 2 is 1, so I've got 2n plus 1. So there is our formula. A sub n equals 2n plus 1. Now, if you forget how to do that, you can also just take the stages and plug them into your n. So stage 1, that's like saying the first term. So plug in 1. 2 times 1 plus 1, and we should get 3. If we don't, then that means our answer is wrong. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 gives us 3. So we're good with this. Notice here, if we did it on the second choice, 2 times 1 minus 1, that gives us 1, not the 3 that we're looking for. So that would definitely be wrong. 2 times 1 plus 2, that gives us 4. So that also is not right. And then 2 times 1 minus 2, that would give us 0, not the 3 that we're looking for. So that proves that those are wrong. All right, and that A is the only choice that we have. All right, hopefully this is a good explanation on how to complete problems 51 through 60. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.